Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mark Roden, and today we are going to be going over what, in my opinion, are the 12, 13, 14 actually, best looking cars that you can buy for dirt cheap. Most of these, as a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure 13 of them can be found for under 10K. Some can even be found under 5K. Some can even be found under 3K if you're lucky enough. And on top of that, really quick, this is all personal opinion, obviously. Looks are completely subjective. If you don't think they look good, that's fine. That's your opinion. You could think of freaking POP50 looks good. I don't, but you could, and that's all that matters. These are just what, in my opinion, I would say are some of the better looking ones. I try to keep everyone in mind and go out of my way to find like certain ones. So some of these are like more aggressive looking muscle cars, and you guys get the whole idea. But without further ado, let's get right into the video with number 13. All right, so coming in at number 13 is actually going to the Subaru BRZ. All right, looks obviously incredibly cool for sure. It's one of the coolest looking, actually, in my opinion, on this list. But you may be asking yourself, well, if it's one of the better looking cars on this list, and why isn't it at number 1, Mark? The reason why is because it's still a little expensive. It's still going to be pretty hard to find under $10,000, but it can be done if you don't mind having a salvage title or if you don't mind having a lot of miles. Either way, though, it comes with a 2-liter flat 4 making 205 horsepower, and it was rear-wheel drive. They're not that fast, obviously. 205 horsepower isn't anything great, but they're like it's like a 2010 Miata almost. It's like the reincarnation of the NA Miata, and they're also rear-wheel drive too, so you can be fun. And normal people that don't know anything about cars are going to think it's fast because it does kind of look fast. But if you think the BRZ looks good, if you're into like the smaller cars, this is definitely one for you. Coming in at the number 12 spot, however, is going to the Hyundai Genesis Coupe. I know it's a little weird hearing a Hyundai be on a cool looking cars list, but here it is. It's definitely an acquired taste. The Genesis Coupe is not for everyone. I've had people say that they look ugly. I've had people say that they look amazing. I personally am one of those people that think they look incredible. I think they're definitely the best looking Hyundai ever made. And in my opinion, they're such a beautiful coupe. They come with a 3.8 liter V6, making 348 horsepower, and they are rear wheel drive. One of, if not the best looking Korean cars for sure. And you can buy these for under 10K if you want a BK2, but you could also find a BK1 for like under 5K with a salvage title if you wanted to. They are very hard to make it look a little bit better because it's very easy to rice these things out. But once you build it right, it looks just absolutely amazing. Number 11 is going to the Toyota MR2 SW20. This is the Toyota MR2 that everybody knows and loves. The MR2, the beautiful one with the pop-em-up headlights. Once again, a very acquired taste, but they got pop-ups, so I mean, come on, how could you not like it? It's kind of like the BRZ in a way. This is for the guy that likes like the smaller cars. And they come with a 2.2 liter inline 4, making 130 horsepower, and they are rear-wheel drive. In general, these cars are pretty damn slept on. Not a lot of people like even know they exist, and if they do know they exist, they definitely don't look into actually buying them. And I don't understand why. They look great. Yes, they are very hard to control, so they're definitely not a good choice for like a new driver, but they're a Toyota, so they're pretty reliable. And if you like Miatas, and if you like track day canyon carving type of stuff, you're going to love the MR2 SW20, and they're an absolute high grabber. Are you kidding me? Coming in at the number 10 spot is going to the 5th generation Chevrolet Camaro. Yes, I know you're probably thinking, how is he about to recommend a Camaro for under 10K? That doesn't make much sense. Well, because I'm talking about the V6 Camaro. Get over it. I still think they look cool. They look just like the SS, so it's on the list, buddy. They come with a 3.6 liter V6, making 323 horsepower, and it is rear wheel drive. In my opinion, they look absolutely incredible. They have like a super aggressive style to them. And Bumblebee. Like, that's all I gotta say. Bumblebee. That's how cool it is. All right. Now, yes, it's a V6, and so it's not going to be as fast as the SS, and you can't make it as fast as the SS you can. But 323 horsepower is very good. Like, that's good. 323 horsepower is more than enough, man. And yes, I know it's a V6, but who cares? 323 horsepower? That's amazing. But just look out for blind spots, though, by the way, because these Camaros don't have good blind spots. Coming in at the number 9. Number 9 large is going to the BMW Z4 E85. Such a slept-on car in general. One of the more slept-on BMWs of all time. And just like the MR2 or the BRZ, it's another car for the guy that kind of likes the smaller, like sporty roadster style of cars. Obviously, this is a roadster, so that's why I said roadster there. But they come with a 3-liter inline 6, making 228 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. Obviously, these Z4s and the Z3s, they all just share the same engine that is in the 3 Series of the time. That's kind of how BMW just does things. but in a much smaller, lightweight, more nimble, stiff suspension and better weight distribution body. So a little bit more sporty version. It's just so amazing. And in person, like, yeah, you might be looking at this video right now and being like, the Z485, ain't that good looking. But in person, dude, it's so much better. It looks so good. Also, the coupes look even better than the Roadsters, dude. Coming in at number 8 is going to the wonderful Acura RSX Type S. This is actually one of the cars that you can find under 5K. And if you're super duper ultra lucky, you could even possibly find a Type S RSX under 3K. Now, I'm not saying it's a great idea to buy the under 3K Type S, but you could find it. They come with a K series, which is a 2.4 liter inline 4 that makes 201 horsepower, and it is front wheel drive. So it's definitely no slouch when modified, but stock, yeah, it's not the fastest out there, but who cares? Like I said, it's a K series, add a turbo on it, and you've got like 5 million horsepower. And it just looks so good with like simple mods. All you got to do is kind of make it look similar to a Type R, and you're golden. That's all you got to do to these RSXs to make them look amazing. One of the best looking Hondas in general to me, personally, besides obviously like the NSX and the S2000, but the RSX is just so unbelievably gorgeous. I know you Honda haters will say no, but like put your hate about Hondas to the side and just look at the car. It looks good. At least say that it looks good. Coming in at the number 7 spot is going to the Audi A5 8T. A5 It is such an absolute bargain deal for what it is. You can find these under 10K all day, every day. And pretty soon, they're probably going to start to drop below 5K. So if you really want one of these, give it like a couple more years and it'll be under 5K. But either way, right now, they're sitting under 10K. And that is an amazing deal for me. They come with a 1.8 liter turbocharged inline 4, making 211 horsepower. And it is all-wheel drive, obviously. But that is quattro all-wheel drive. So one of the better all-wheel drive systems for sure. They aren't that fast stock. And it is a little hard to make these cars pretty quick. But they're really not meant for that, to be honest. They're very luxurious cars. They're pretty damn reliable. I will say stock, this car does look a little bit boring, but it's so easy to make it look like just mean. Just literally lower it, put some wheels on it, tint the windows, and it's now like an aggressive looking, like beautiful coupe that like I feel like Gunna would drive. Yeah, it's just amazing. I love the A5 AT. Coming in at the number 6 spot, it's coming in hot. He's going to the Ford Mustang GT S197. Facelift or pre-facelift, it really doesn't matter. I think they both look absolutely amazing. They're one of the better looking muscle cars for sure to come from Ford, in my opinion. I'm going to be honest, I've never been really the biggest Mustang fan. I never really think they look that great. But the S197, especially the facelift model, is just, they're beautiful looking cars. They come with a 5 liter V8, making 412 horsepower, and they are rear-wheel drive. Obviously, that's pretty damn good. 412 horsepower in a rear-wheel drive mean car. And I know it is basic, like everybody has a Mustang nowadays, but it looks great. Like blacked out, nice little angry looking Mustang. You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. Now, I will say the pre-facelift is going to take a little bit more work to make it look nicer, but it's still a pretty cool car. Coming in at the number 5 spot is going to be a little bit biased, but I think most people would agree with me here. It is the Nissan 350Z. It's my car. I own a 350Z, so yeah, obviously there's a little bit of a bias there, but I feel like most people will say the 350Z is a pretty decent looking car, at least. Whether you don't like the sound it makes or not, I think you can at least admit that it looks good. They come with a 3.5 liter V6, making 306 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. This is another car that you can actually find for under $5,000. I bought mine for $5,000 exactly, so buy yours. It's also really easy to make a 350Z look better. Don't use mine as an example because mine does not look better right now, but it is easy to make a 350Z look great. Every mod out there is super cheap. It has a ridiculous amount of aftermarket support for it. It's also very fun to drive too, so if you're into that thing, then obviously you can go ahead and pick up a 300 horsepower rear-wheel drive 350Z for 5K and have a blast. And that's what makes the 350Z so great. But on top of it, it's just like icing on the cake that it looks so good too. Coming in at number 4, just barely missing out on a podium finish, is going to the Infiniti G37 Coupe. 2 VQs back to back, baby. But this one is, in my opinion, slightly better looking and performance-wise. It's all around a little bit better than the 350Z. But I did not plan the 2 VQs back to back, by the way. So my fault if you're a VQ hater, but you're probably really upset about that. Either way, though, they come with a 3.7 liter V6 that makes 330 horsepower, and they are rear-wheel drive / all-wheel drive, meaning you can choose which one you want to go with. It has like a VIP but very aggressive kind of look to the G37 Coupes, and I love that about it. It isn't that easy actually to make these things look better, to be honest. Like most cars you lower it, put wheels on it, and it looks 10 times better. But the G37 Coupe, you kind of have to add a little bit more just because it has all like the chrome stuff on it. So you gotta like dechrome it, make it look a little bit more aggressive. Everyone kind of builds them the same too, but it still works. You know, it's just still, it's like a tried and true, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, G37 Coupe build, and I like it. Coming in at the third position is probably a car that you guys were actually not expecting to see on this list at all, but it is the Pontiac Firebird Trans Am. I don't know technically what generation it is, but it's the honeycomb ones, the one with the honeycomb taillights, and I absolutely love them. It comes with an LS, so the power is obviously going to be there. That, my friends, if you don't know LS motors, is a 5.7 liter V8, making 325 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. That's really good, obviously, for performance, but in terms of looks, it's just amazing too. Those freaking honeycomb taillights in general, like just that alone is beautiful. But then it also has the T-top roof, it has the pop-up headlights, it has that massive like Ram air hood thing going on. It has a very unique like body lines and style to it as well. The rear spoiler, how it's like built into the trunk, is just absolutely amazing. It has literally like everything that I personally like on cars on it, and so that's why I put it here at third place. I love them, and I truly cannot believe how cheap they are either. You can find these under 10K all day. Coming in at second place is going to yet another car that you can find under 5K. By the way, you could probably find that Firebird under 5K as well if you looked hard enough, just saying. But it's the Mitsubishi 3000 GT at the second position spot. This is definitely underrated for sure, but I will say it's starting to get more and more love as these months go by, and I think it deserves it. I don't think the 3000 GT is like a $10,000 car, but I think it deserves a little bit more love. They come with a 3 liter V6, making 170 horsepower, and it is front wheel drive. Obviously, the VR4 is a lot better and makes a lot more horsepower and is all wheel drive, but those are not going to be cheap at all, so you're stuck with the base model, my good friend. And now every generation of the 3000 GT does look really cool in my opinion, but the third gen just does something to old Marky Boy over here. The third gen freaking 3000 GT with the like blacked out headlights and that weird wing that goes on the back. Oh, they're just amazing. And in person, if you see a 3000 GT in person, they literally look like a supercar. It's crazy. Honorable mention time. It is going to the BMW 335i E92, of course. I mean, why not? The 335i E92 is, in my opinion, an absolutely beautiful BMW, and they come with a 3 liter twin turbocharged inline 6, making 300 horsepower, and it is rear wheel drive or all wheel drive. And I will say, at first, the E92s that aren't M3s, they kind of look girly in a way, but it's just like the Audi A5 and the G37 Coupe. It's pretty easy to make them not look girly. It's also another car that looks good with just like the basic black on black, kind of like the Mustang. And it is, since it has the N54 in it, it is incredible to tune for power. But if you just want to go with the good looks, I would recommend just getting the 328i and saving your money. But of course, first place is going to the Chevy Corvette C5. I think it is absolutely amazing. It's definitely not only the best looking car for cheap in my opinion, but it's just also so easy to make a C5 Corvette look better. They just look immaculate. You gotta see a C5 Corvette in person to actually fully understand why they're so beautiful. They come with a 5.7 liter V8, making 350 horsepower, and they are rear wheel drive. That, my friends, is an LS, so power is insane in one of these if you want to build it for power. It also gets surprisingly good gas mileage and reliability, so it's actually a not bad daily driver either. And it's one of the best looking Corvettes to me personally, for sure. The last one with pop-up headlights as well, which is amazing. If you get like the Roadster version, the top comes off, which is so cool. Taillights are so cool. You can lower it and make it look amazing. It's literally a supercar from the 2000s that you can buy under 10K, and that's just amazing to me. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of today's video of the top 14, if you're including the honorable mention, excuse me, best looking cars that you can buy for the dirt of the cheap. Okay. Now, in the top of the comments, guys, down below, is going to be a link to my gaming channel where I go over Grand Theft Auto Online content. If you like Grand Theft Auto Online, go over there. Obviously, most of it is about the cars in Grand Theft Auto Online, so if you like the, the pew-pewing in Grand Theft Auto Online, then you're probably not going to get that much use out of that channel. But if you like the cars and the customization and all that stuff in GTA Online, go over there, check it out. I'd really appreciate it. But thank you guys so much for watching. Das Vidania. Have a nice night.